Okay, once just see on the top corner when you see Facebook Live, you can start. Yeah, I think.
Is it working?
Power on. You plugged into Nirvana. Your device is ready to. You are now.
I can't see it on my. Here is okay. Now it's fine. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining on this very short notice. And as you know, we are all going through this very severe crisis and what Karnataka is facing due to COVID. We've lost so many of our loved ones, not because of the virus, but because of the misgovernance at all levels. And what happened in Nagar and Yelahanka and Gulbarga are appalling. And at this stage, when people are already facing such a crisis due to lack of beds, oxygen, remdesivir, ICU, and vaccines, we expect our people's representatives to support us. But it is with shock that what we saw, that 3 MLAs and an MP from Bangalore are trying to communalize the situation. And at this juncture, we demand that the Chief Minister step in and take charge. And it is in this context that we have called this press meeting. And we have a group of people from across the civil society organizations who are, and also individuals and researchers, and a couple of people from the public health organizations representing in this press release. So without wasting time, I would request each one of them to address it. So first of all, we would start with Advocate Maitri Krishnan from the All India Central Council of Trade Unions. Over to you, Maitri.
Thank you. Thanks, Bhargavi, and thanks everyone for joining us today on such short notice. The past 3 weeks, as we all know, has been extremely is a very difficult and trying time for everyone in the state of Karnataka. We have seen the ways in which people have been forced to run helter-skelter for bed, for oxygen, for medicines, and the way in which lives have just been lost in this manner. We, remember the victims who passed away. Bhargavi was mentioning in Gulbarga, Bangalore, and terrible trauma the families are undergoing. Firstly, before we just get it, as an Indian, I first salute all the frontline workers. These are the doctors, the nurses, housekeeping workers, the sanitation workers, the journalists, who across the Paura Karmikas, across the state who are working. It is that the real effort must be to mobilize resources, both human and otherwise, in order to protect the life of people. However, it is in this time, it is in these very difficult times that the incident that we are speaking of has taken place. As we all know, the video that was circulated and the way in which this entire communalizing of this entire thing has taken place is extremely disturbing to all of us. Questions, if the question that was raised was one of bed allotment, if it was one of only of a scam of corruption, that certainly is something that must be looked into. But what has been done by Tejasvi Surya and these 3 MLAs is in fact a clear attempt to communalize, provide a clear communal twist to the entire situation. We've all seen the ways in which the names of 17 Muslim persons were read out of a total list of 205 workers. In the video that we have seen, Ravi Subramaniam in fact asks if they are running a madrasa or a corporation. Satish Reddy demands and asks whether there's a list of people going to the Hajj or if BBMP is a Hajj committee. See, this is a blatant attempt to promote hatred amongst communities. This is an instance where persons have been targeted solely on the basis of religion. Such an attempt to promote enmity is highly condemnable. We also know that there was a WhatsApp message that was circulated calling the 17 persons terrorists, blaming an officer of the BBMP, calling them out in a clear attempt to create disharmony in these very, very difficult times. One thing that we are all clear, corruption of any form has to be looked at, irrespective of religion, irrespective of caste or anything else. But the way in which this incident has taken place, the way in which Tejasvi Surya and the MLAs have actually gone about this is a very, very clear attempt to communalize the situation, and that is extremely unacceptable. This is a time when majority of people of the state, large number of persons who are belonging to deprived sections of society, are undergoing extreme difficulty and hardship. They have been hit not only by the coronavirus, but even the lockdown, which has affected their livelihood. People are struggling for food and for any form of financial security. These are also times in which citizens and society is actually standing up and really helping people, going out of the way, selflessly helping people. In these times, the spread of communal hatred is highly unacceptable, it's condemnable, and let us be very clear that it is an offense. I also want to bring to the attention of everyone here that a complaint has been registered with the Siddhapura police station. We demand that this promotion of hatred, this incitement of hatred that is being done by Tejasvi Surya, Ravi Subramaniam, Satish Reddy, and Uday Gurpura is an FIR be registered immediately. And we also demand their arrest. We also demand that very strict steps must be taken at any attempt against any person who attempts to spread communal hatred in these times. I would like to end with this. Bhargavi?
Department.
Thank you, Maitreyi. I would request everybody else to kindly keep your microphones on mute, please. And if you have anything to ask, kindly put it in the chat box. That will be convenient for everybody to address the questions. I will take the questions one by one after all our speakers have spoken. Our next speaker is Ramchandra Guha, who's a well-known writer, and I invite him to the forum to share his thoughts. Over to you, Mr. Guha.
Thank you, Bhargavi. So let me begin with what I understand as a student of history. So a year ago, when the pandemic was just beginning, I wrote a column where I said, "This may be our greatest crisis since partition." Now, a year later, that qualifier may has to be emphatically removed. This is our greatest crisis since partition, our greatest national crisis since partition, and the distress and the suffering has been enormous and colossal and will continue. At this time, it's also important to remember the lessons of how we overcame the trauma and tragedy of partition. Nehru and Patel, who were heading the Congress government, set aside their partisanship, got Baba Saheb Ambedkar and Shama Prasad Mukherjee and others who had been their political rivals for the last 20 years to work alongside them in a national cabinet to heal the wounds, to unite the nation, and to formulate and enact a democratic, secular, and plural constitution. Now, at our most difficult moment since then, do we need hatred, polarization by our elected leaders? That's a question the ruling party needs to ask itself. Are these four gentlemen who made these extremely hateful and shameful remarks and unfounded allegations, are these four gentlemen freelancers, or are they acting under higher orders of their party? I don't know the answer to that. But I do know, as a resident of Karnataka, I do know that this may have such communal polarization may have some very grave consequences. And I appeal to the Chief Minister. The Chief Minister is a wise and experienced hand. He knows the state very well. While he may have other limitations and faults we criticize him for, he is not a criminal person. That's also true of the other senior leaders in our state. You know, people like Mr. Siddaramaiah in the Congress, or Mr. Devegowda, who's a former Prime Minister. They know the gravity of the situation which these four gentlemen who are stoking trouble may not know. So maybe all three of them could get together, and really take things in hand. Our state cannot afford violence, division, stigmatization at a time like this, when all our attention should be on containing the crisis, alleviating the suffering, making hospital beds available, making sure there's an adequate supply of oxygen and other resources, of showing proper concern and compassion for all the staff who are working across, not just doctors, but nurses and sanitation workers and supervisory staff and everyone else. This is a major crisis in the time, in the life of our city, our state, and our country. And it's up to the Chief Minister, as well as the senior opposition leaders, to stand up and stop this poison and venom immediately.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಗುಹಾ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋರಿಗೆ ಮೈತ್ರಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣನ್ ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಶ್ರೀ ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರ ಗುಹಾ ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು. Next, I would like to invite Leo Saldana, coordinator of Environment Support Group, to share his thoughts. Over to you, Leo.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ. ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಆಗಿರೋ ಘಟನೆನ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ತೀವ್ರವಾಗಿ ಖಂಡಿಸಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಕೋವಿಡ್ ವಾರ್ ರೂಮ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ತಿಳಿಸಿ ಸೂಕ್ತ ಪರಿಹಾರನ ಕೊಡುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಸೂರ್ಯನ್ಗೂ ಇದೆ, ಉದಯ್ ಗರುಡಾಚಾರ್ಗೂ ಇದೆ, ಸತೀಶ್ ರೆಡ್ಡಿಗೂ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ರವಿ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯಂ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ರೂಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ, ಅವ್ರ ಅಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅವರಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರ ಜೊತೆನೂ ಕಿತ್ತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರದೇ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ, ಅವ್ರದೇ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ, ಅವರೇ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಮುನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ಗಳು ಇದೆ. ಇದು ಯಾತಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ತರ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇದೊಂದು ವೆಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಬ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಡೈವರ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್. ಈ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಪಾಪ ಒದ್ದಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ICU ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಆಂಬ್ಯುಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಸಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಂಬ್ಯುಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಸಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಔಷಧಿ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಸೇರಿಸಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೀಗಿರುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜನಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಗಳು ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರ ಗೋ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾರ, ಈಗ ಮಾಜಿ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು 3 ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕುಮಾರಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ತರ, ಅವರು ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಜೊತೆನೂ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪ ಜೊತೆನೂ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗದೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇರುವಾಗ ಅವರು ಜನರ ಒಂದು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿನ ಮುಂದಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯನ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿಟ್ಟು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇದು. ಆ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ 4 ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಖಂಡಿಸಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ we also want to highlight, we have made a representation to the chief minister. It is being endorsed, and this is part of a wider civil society strategy. All of us are very, very clear that this effort has to be decentralized. You don't have to call a central number to get oxygen in your local ward or your local panchayat. Every ward and panchayat is elected under the constitution and is a constitutional authority to deliver the right to life to the local people. Right to life has to be delivered through the Panchayat Raj system, through the Nagarpalika system, not through some health secretary or the commissioner or some high-flying, power that is hardly understood and accessible to the local public. Secondly, we want to make sure that this is a disaster. There is a disaster management authority. Much as we may have problems with the Disaster Management Act, which the Congress passed in 2005 because it has draconian powers, we would like the state government to set aside the draconian powers, but take the humanistic powers from within those laws, not use some colonial vestigial laws like Epidemics Act, but use this one and humanize the entire endeavor. Because today people are dying in their homes, people are dying in ambulances, people are dying in hospitals, people are dying in ICUs. Not having remdesivir, if it is a life-saving drug, is the most obnoxious situation that one can ever imagine. So I would like to say that, the statement that we have put in the chat box may kindly be perused, and I would hope that, as much as possible, we all collectively push the government to respond to the public, respond to those who are particularly sick, and respond also to those who have lost near and dear ones. And finally, I want to request that the Chief Minister should immediately take steps to stop the communalization that has been started. We do not want a parallel health system that is started by Tejaswi Surya. The only health system that should work is the public health system. Everyone should be drafted in private sector, public, and no MLA and MP should have his own parallel system. It is not a time for politics or gaining attention to oneself. That has to end. And the Chief Minister must take very clear and very strident steps to put an end to this nonsense.
Thank you. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನೀಗ JM ವೀರಸಂಗಯ್ಯ ಅವರು ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯ ರೈತ ಸಂಘ ಅವರನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ವೀರಸಂಗಯ್ಯ ಕೇಳ್ಸತ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? ಹಲೋ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? maybe we'll wait till his internet gets better. We'll go to the next speaker. Our next speaker is Suhaib from the Student Islamic Organization. Over to you, Suhaib.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the entire civil society for having taken this step. I would like to tell that the situation in India is very grim, and the entire health infrastructure has faltered, and it has completely collapsed. And the medical fraternity, or it might be volunteers, they are actually stretched beyond limits. They are physically exhausted and they are mentally exhausted to a level that the volunteers who are actually working with us, we need to give them counsels as well. So in these times when numbers are slowly turning into names of family members, statements like this actually bring in a lot of pain, especially for a community like ours who are actually putting in every effort possible to actually do something to the humanity. I request that statements like this should not be given any sort of attention from people like this. And I request that the aspect of COVID relief, like Guha sir said, or Leo Saldana sir said, we need to concentrate that. We need to come back, and we need to gather irrespective of religion, caste, and creed. And we need to address this humanitarian crisis at earliest. Thank you so much for having given me this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Suhaib. I now request Dr. Sylvia Karpagam, who represents the campaign for against hate speech, to share her thoughts. Over to you, Dr. Karpagam.
Thank you. The campaign against hate speech, also called Dveshada Matugala Virudha Janandolana, has been active right from the first wave of this pandemic. And we have been consistently documenting how the media and elected representatives have lost valuable time instead of preparing for the pandemic. They have lost valuable time in trying to communalize the whole thing. And the campaign has also filed complaints with the police, the Press Council of India, and the National Broadcasting Standards Authority of India. We've also got responses from these bodies. I'll put the link to the blog in the chat, so that'll be a reference. So now ಏನ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಯಾವಾಗಿಂದ ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಂಡಮಿಕ್ ಶುರು ಆಗಿದೆ ಆವಾಗಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೇನು ತುಂಬಾ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಆಸ್ ಅ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮೇನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ರೆಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಂಡಮಿಕ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಇತ್ತು ಆ ಕ್ರೂಷಿಯಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಅಥವಾ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ನ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಇರೋ ಕ್ರೈಸಿಸ್ ನ ನಾವು ತುಂಬಾ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಜನರು ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರು ತುಂಬಾ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಟರ್ಷರಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಸೂಪರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಾಲಿಟಿ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೆಡ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಇದರಿಂದ ಯಾರು ತುಂಬಾ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಬಡತನ ಇರೋ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್, ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆನೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದು ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ನಾವು ಕೆಲವರು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದ್ರೇನು ನಾವು ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಆದಷ್ಟು ಟೆಲಿಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಜನ ತುಂಬಾ ಭಯ ಪಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಭಯದಿಂದಾನೇ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಏನ್ ಅವ್ರ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕೋ ಅದು ತಗೋತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಜನರು. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕೇರ್ ಏನ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅದು ಕೊಡಕ್ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದೇ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. We are approaching the volunteers, and the volunteers have been there for us right from the beginning of the pandemic, during the day, during the night. In the night you call someone and you say, listen, this patient has the oxygen saturation which is dropping, and ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ರಾತ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೋ ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಅವರು ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೆಲವು ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಇದು ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಔಷಧಿ ತಗೊಳಕ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಂಡ್ ಕೆಲವರು ಬರೀ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಏನೋ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲಿಂಗ್ ಬೇಕು. ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ರೆಫರಿಂಗ್ ಟು ವಾಲಂಟಿಯರ್ಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ volunteers who are working in very stressful conditions, highly stressful, because some of them call from Krishnagiri and from Kerala saying we've come here trying to source oxygen, and these are people who are volunteers, they're not doing it for money, and a lot of them are from the Muslim community, and they have been friends, they have been supporters, they have been working with us on this journey. And I think it is very shameful that someone like Tejasvi Surya and his friends, instead of looking at what is the role of the government, they are using this opportunity to communalize it. And even the pandemic ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶಗಳು ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಬೇರೆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಲಂಟಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, irrespective of caste, gender, religion, geographic background, and sexual orientation, people have come together. There they have been able to address the pandemic, they have been able to save lives, and that is happening in Karnataka, and hats off to our volunteers. And it's shameful that the government and some members from the government are using this situation to communalize it, and we condemn it, and we think it is completely opposing the spirit of working to address this serious pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sylvia. I now request Vinay Srinivasa to come in, and after that we will ask Mr. Mani to come in. Over to you.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಇಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಬರ್ದಿರೋ ಬಹಿರಂಗ ಪತ್ರ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಒಂದ್ ವೇಳೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನನಗೆ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನನ್ನ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಸಹ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಲಿಯೋ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಪತ್ರ ಸಹ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದವರಿಗೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
Okay.
The English version is already in the chat box. I have shared the file.
We'll repost both of that for everybody's convenience. I now request Mr. Mani to come in from the All India People's Forum.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಇರುವ ವಿಚಾರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಒಂದೆರಡು ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಇವಾಗ 2 ವೈರಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು COVID-19, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೋಮುವಾದ ಎನ್ನುವ ವೈರಸ್. ಈ ಕೋಮುವಾದ ಒಂದು ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಪಕ್ಷದವರು, ಸಂಘಟನೆಯವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತವನ್ನ ಮುಂದುವರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಉರಿತಿರುವಾಗ ಅಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಕೋಮುವಾದವನ್ನ ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೊರಟಿರುವುದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ತೇಜಸ್ವಿ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಅವರೇ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೋಮುವಾದವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ನೀವು ಹೊರಟಿರುವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಇದೆಯಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಮನಸ್ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. COVID-19ಗೆ ಕೋವಿಶೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಕೋವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಸ್ಪುಟ್ನಿಕ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಕೆಲವು ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಕೋಮುವಾದ ಎನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ವೈರಸ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು, ಜನರ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ದ್ವೇಷ ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬದಲು ಪ್ರೀತಿಯನ್ನ ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ತೇಜಸ್ವಿ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳು ಜನರ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಈ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಇತಿಹಾಸ ಇದೆ, ಪಾರಂಪರ್ಯ ಇದೆ. ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರ ಗುಹಾ ತರ ಇರುವವರು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಒಂದು ಸೌಕಾರತೆ, ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೀತಿ, ಜನರ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆ, ಅದು ಈ ದೇಶದ ನಿಜವಾದ ಒಂದು ಇತಿಹಾಸ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೀವು ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಬಿಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಜನರ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ತರ ಒಂದು ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ತರಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಹಕಾರ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ಒಂದು ಬಿಕ್ಕಟ್ಟು ಇರುವ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಜವಾಗಿ, ಒಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರವಾಗಿ, ಒಂದು ದೇಶವಾಗಿ ಒಂದೇ ಧ್ವನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದೇ ಬಲದಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದೇ ಸಾಲಿಡಾರಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ we will fight both COVID-19 as a virus. We will also fight communalism as a virus. ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೋಮು ಸೌಹಾರ್ದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ, ಜಾತ್ಯತೀತಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ, ಈ ಸಂವಿಧಾನವನ್ನ ಉಳಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಫೋರಂ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಮನವಿಯನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ನನ್ನ ಎರಡು ಮಾತನ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ.
Thank you, Mr. Mani, for putting it across so beautifully and highlighting how everybody has come together at a moment like this and how our MP is destroying that by communalizing the situation. I also see Madhu in the group here. Madhu, would you like to share your thoughts? You've been working a lot on the ground with the Hakipiki community and a whole lot of others. Would you like to share your thoughts, Madhu?
Well, not really, Bhargavi. I just want to add, I mean, I think all of us here are extremely concerned about, as Mani put it very rightly, the virus of COVID and the virus of communalism. And I think both these viruses is something that all of us have been trying to fight. And I think the COVID virus, in a way, is really hitting us today very hard. And in the communities where we're working, in the rural areas, in the poorer communities especially, I mean, everybody's getting impacted. I think this virus is really impacting everybody across the board. But I think in terms of access to services, it is really the poorer and marginalized communities that are really getting hit. And which is why it is so important what we have raised today, that of decentralization. Because it is only when you decentralize that the most marginalized communities have a hope in getting access to some of these services and the strengthening of the public health system. You know, and the public health system, you know, despite the fact that it is crumbling, I think the fact is that on the ground, we do see it also functioning, which gives you some hope. You know, because you do see, you know, local level nurses, you know, village nurses, local doctors who are struggling so hard and really working almost 24 hours. And I think we have to acknowledge that they are doing tremendous amount of work. So which is why at this point of time, when somebody like Tejasvi Surya comes in to demoralize them, I think it has to be condemned in no uncertain terms. And I think all our help should go to those who are on the front line, you know, who are really out there, you know, trying to deal, you know, even ASHA workers, you know, risking everything. They're out there in the community. You know, in one of the Hakipiki settlements, we've discovered there are 30 cases, okay? And this girl is out there, okay, with the community, you know, taking their fears, taking the paranoia, you know, dealing with the system. And yet we are trying to ensure that everybody gets treatment. So a lot of things have to be put into place. And Mr. Surya cannot derail this process, cannot. A lot of things still have to be put into place, like COVID care centers, like strengthening the local PHCs, like ensuring that, you know, there are scanning, you know, machines that are there at the local level. So these are all the things that should be the priority. And I think that is something that we should get the focus back on. And people like Tejasvi Surya have to be held accountable for really this crime of trying to, you know, detract, you know, attention from what is really hitting everybody today. And it is a calamity on a scale that has been unknown. I think it's a tragedy and a calamity on an unknown scale, and we have to pull ourselves together. There is no place for this kind of hateful divisiveness, and it has to be put in its place.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to share your thoughts? Or do you have any questions to our speakers?
Can anyone else raise a question? Please raise your hand so we can spot you.
Zishan, would you like to say something? I see your little window getting highlighted every now and then. Are you trying to say something? Manvi? Zishan Manvi?
No, ma'am, no.
Okay. I would urge all of you all to go through the letter itself and read it, share it further, because it addresses a whole lot of issues that we are currently facing. I can share my screen and walk you through some of the very important points. So for example, the kind of deaths that we have been seeing in many hospitals across the state because of lack of oxygen. Then the fact that the whole thing should be decentralized, as our speakers very rightly put it. Then how ward committees and in urban areas and panchayat facilitation committees must be immediately revived, because it is there where people can go and get the concerned information and support at a time like this. And it also addresses a variety of issues that can be taken care at the local level. Then how the disaster management cells must be activated as per the direction of the Honorable High Court. Then it also addresses the issue of regardless of all the financial considerations, to demand central support to ensure everyone is vaccinated against COVID for free. This has been done in Andhra Pradesh and a couple of other states, so we have to learn from that. Then the fact that how every ward should have the fever clinics and other facilities that need to be strengthened. It addresses a variety of other issues in terms of raising awareness. There is also a lot of stigma today. People are neglecting their cough and first few symptoms, thinking that, oh, if it is COVID, what's going to happen to me? How will people look at me? And they are delaying going and getting themselves tested or isolated. So a public address system conveying the need for testing, isolation, the COVID appropriate behavior is very much needed. The need to strengthen some of the labs and a whole lot of other medical facilities. It also addresses the need for the availability of masks and sanitizers at all the public health centers. The public health centers are so crowded. There is a crowd for testing and there is a crowd for the vaccination. And absolutely no measures are being taken there. So that has to be addressed immediately, because they are becoming small little events where the disease is getting spread, where the virus is jumping. Then also in the context of all our frontline workers, including those working in the crematoria, I think we have to ensure that they get all their benefits, compensation for overtime, and some time for recuperation, because some of them are working 14 to 18 hours a day. Then ensure that everybody has PPE and sanitary napkins. I've been reading articles where doctors have said that they are inside 18 hours in a PPE, and women doctors are complaining of they don't have time to go change. And just with a single PPE for an entire day, it gets very horrible with clothes and the sanitary pads, and especially for women. So that needs to be addressed. Then also ensure that the frontline workers are hydrated and given good nutrition. So I would urge everybody to read this, and there has to be zero tolerance for any kind of hate and communalism. The state has to make this statement very clear to everybody, and the state has to work with the NGOs working across the diverse sectors that we represent: children, women, senior citizens, sex workers, the sexual minorities, orphans, disabled particularly. We have to ensure that everybody is vaccinated, everybody can access healthcare, and make sure nobody is left behind. And I think we also have to make sure that all the philanthropies and foundations and the CSR support, their support right now is welcome, but they have to work with the local government and the NGOs who are facilitating this. So I would urge everybody to read this, circulate it further, and engage in more such conversations, and make sure that these things are delivered. Push for this, engage in these conversations. Yeah, any more questions? I don't see any questions here. Anybody else would like to say anything else?
I'd like to add a point here, and that is got to do with the fact that the civil society has stepped out even though they have not been backed by the state. In fact, they have been hindered by the central government. Last year, the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act was amended, forcing civil society to focus attention on all sorts of unnecessary change of accounts and so on. Hundreds and thousands of civil society organizations and hospitals and public health centers and extension services that they render have become difficult, largely because they don't have resources. Their staff has not been paid. Their infrastructure has not been supported. And at a time when their efforts, their capacity to reach the most remote areas is required, the nation is denied that because of the Ministry of Home Affairs not allowing them to operate their bank accounts. So it is my appeal, and this is where Mr. Tejaswi Surya should step up. And if he wants to do good, there are ways to do good, and that would be to go and request the Home Minister to set aside that for a period of time. We can go back to it, just like the farm bills have been set aside for a period of time. The amendments made to the FCR Act can also be set aside so people can operate their existing accounts and thus pay their staff, especially their staff which is out in the field, the doctors, the hospitals which are desperately seeking oxygen. And when the state cannot provide through public health systems oxygen, there are possibly a huge network that could, but they are not able to because they are not supported by resources. This is one part. The second part is to ensure that the state government organizes at every district a district council to remedy the situation, which could be a network of people from civil society, from the medical fraternity, from academia, and from also the elected representatives and the district administration. And that could, in fact, work not only to attend to this disaster, but the many, many other pandemics that we are likely to see, because we are in the impact of climate change. And there is going to be the high frequency of such pandemics coming on and on. So I think this is a time to come together, not divide each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Anybody else would like to share your thoughts or say something, or do you have a question to any of our speakers?
I think Aditya wants the letter to be posted, the English letter.
It's posted twice. I can post it again. If you just go up the chat box, you'll find that there is a letter, representation to CM against communalization of COVID relief. It's a Word file. You just have to roll up the chat box. I've shared it twice already. And Vinaya shared the link to the Kannada version.
Mr. Mani, would you like to say something? Your chat was not very clear. What you?
No. I was trying to repost the English letter, but I think you didn't copy well. Nothing else to add. Thank you.
Oh. Vinay, any closing thoughts from your end?
No, nothing, Bhargavi.
Anybody else? Any speakers? Maitreyi?
No, thanks, Bhargavi, I think.
Okay.
Bhargavi?
Yeah, Madhu?
No, it's not a closing thought. I just wanted to, because I missed the first part, I'm sorry. But just to reiterate, I mean, the context for the Tejaswi Surya's, intervention also, I mean, he must remember, like the whole of Bangalore city and the country should remember the contribution of several organizations, Muslim organizations and Muslim volunteers who have contributed immensely. I think this point has come up, but I think from last year, they've been tirelessly working. And in the most horrendous conditions. I think Sylvia also mentioned that any time of the day, any time of the night, putting their lives out at risk, and especially during the migrant crisis, during the whole, the train situation last year, where the migrants had to be sent back, and this year. And I think to not acknowledge that and to continuously demonize the community, I think is absolutely shameful. And I think it's not acceptable at all. And I think it needs to be condemned and I think Mr. Yediyurappa himself took a very strong stand against it last year when he said that the virus will not be communalized on the Tablighi incident. And I think similarly, he needs to step out and make a statement on it this time too.
Exactly. We need
Thanks
to
so
highlight
that comment. Yes, ma'am. Actually, I'm really thankful that ma'am actually brought in that point, Because what we are seeing is we have been working on the field continuously. And after the incident of Tejaswi Surya, a lot of our volunteers are in deep anguish. They are actually scared to make calls to BBMP, even though their own families, though their own friends' families are in trouble. We are actually sitting in backseat and thinking what is happening. And thank you so much for actually bringing that point, ma'am.
I also want to add that these kind of actions, they have very real consequences on people, on their mental health, first of all, but also in terms of their livelihood, in terms of risk to people's lives. We've seen that, Muslim communities, street vendors have been targeted, and they've lost their livelihood. And even in this instance, the 17 volunteers have been dismissed. Been news about that. So this is very irresponsible, and they are putting entire communities at risk, and they're putting their livelihood at risk. And I think we as a society really need to condemn it in the strongest possible words.
Thank you. Thank you for those points. And I think these need to be added into the document before we submit. And I think it will also be appropriate to ask Mr. Surya to apologize.
Our document, in statement to the Chief Minister, we have asked him to direct them to not only extend an apology, but also compensate each and every one of the 17 people who have been wrongly thrown out of their jobs. They should be paid a amount of at least 50,000 rupees each, so that this becomes a deterrent against any other politician who attempts this kind of criminalization in such really distressing circumstances.
Thank you. Any other closing thoughts? Mr. Guha, do you have any closing thoughts, please?
Just to echo what Madhu said, I think the Chief Minister must, because as in the past he has shown him to be sensible on such questions. Unlike many other people in his party, he understands his state. He understands what strife and polarization causes to ordinary citizens of Karnataka. And he must really step up and chastise, these four people, and Mr. Surya in particular, so that, we can get on with the work. And as, the young man Abdul said, I mean, young people are anxious because they are from a different religion from Mr. Surya now to go out and help and work and serve. And so I think it's obligatory for the Chief Minister to actually step in. He is the Chief Minister, and it's his responsibility. He's a senior leader. He's been Chief Minister several times before. He understands the state. So I really hope he chastises Mr. Surya.
Thank you. Thank you for your thoughts. Anybody else before we close? Okay.
That's a positive sign for all of us. That's a peacock calling, PN calling. It's a resident here in my house, and it is actually agreeing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining this event, and also at short notice. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ತುಂಬ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಭೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಖಂಡಿತ ಮುಂದೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುವ, and we'll ensure that there is equitable distribution of everything that we are currently in need of. Thank you so much. Stay safe and take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Paper collect